Thank you, Commissioner Perry. Next, Chief Clements, your opening statement, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to the council. My thoughts and prayers to the city sergeant and his family, and Nick, I know how close you were to him and his family, so my thoughts are with you. And as well, my thoughts are with the victims of all crime, gun crime, homicide in this city over the course of this year and always. We've been here a long time, and unfortunately, gun crime has been an issue. And I've always said, in this police department, we should not shy away that we have a gun problem or that we have a gang problem. And we haven't done that in the Providence Police Department. So I know there's a list of questions of which I'm not going to get to all of them during this opening. I provided many documents for your review, and I'm open to questions at the end on each of those documents. But I did want to hit a few of the high or generalized issues in my first 5 minutes here. So crime, what we're seeing is eerily consistent with what's going on around the country. That, well, in particular here, all crime is down, believe it or not. We've had a horrific 4, 5, 6 week run, but the data is the data. We've provided that, and crime is down, believe it or not. What isn't down are shootings in the last couple of weeks and homicide. What we've seen is more lethality around the country, and that's happened here in Providence as well, where we will see a crime scene where maybe 3 years ago, 10 years ago, we'd have a small amount of ballistics, and today we're seeing crime scenes with 25, 28, 61 shell casings on a scene. It's incredible, the amount of firepower that's out there, and it's incredible the midst of what the men and women of the Providence Police Department are exposed to, in all honesty. I do have these storyboards here. I don't know if somebody was going to throw those up front, and I could stand up and just refer to that very quickly, or do you want to pull them up on the screen?
Okay.
Shut that one off. That's good, and you can leave that one right on the side, right here. So look, the Providence Police have done so much over the last 10 years, and I'll hit the high notes. A huge accomplishment for this major city police department, and one of the few, very small percentage of major cities in this country who became CALEA accredited. We did that in 2014. We became reaccredited in 2017 and again in 2021. As well, state accredited, state certified. We were selected by the Washington, D.C. Department of Justice to create a national training protocol for police community relations. We were voted twice the best community police department in New England. Most importantly, and here's what we're here to speak about tonight, is resources and the workforce and manpower. In our time, this command staff, along with Commander Verdi and the majors, we've had 3 academies that we're very proud of: the 68th, 67th, 68th, and 69th. We presently have the 70th Providence Police Academy in session. During those academies, we have hired 164 officers. 101 of those officers are from minority background. That's a huge accomplishment. I don't think is matched, certainly regionally, I'll say. This 70th Providence Police Academy has 49 recruits and 30 are minorities. They are due to graduate on November 6th. The Providence Police Department, I was selected to testify before a congressional subcommittee in Washington, D.C. We were the only police department invited to speak at this session about violence in urban communities in America. And it was received extremely well. There were senators in the room and staff, and there were law students from University of Georgetown, in American University. And after the session was over, when they heard the story about the Providence police, they all marveled about the great work that we had done. And it really is incredible work. And so on and so forth, created the Community Relations Bureau, the only department in the United States 2 years ago to receive the Community Policing Award in the same year in 2 separate categories. We are the only police department in the United States to have ever done that. We've done some magnificent training with our partners. 2021 department-wide de-escalation training. We had a speaker come in. He just finished up last week. You cannot get this training around the country. He took time off his schedule to come to Providence because he knows what we're up against. This guy trains nationally, internationally. He's scheduled through 2022. We went through the entire academy and the entire Providence Police Department as well. We do all sorts of training with our partners, including the LGBTQ plus inclusivity training, of which we had a $100,000 grant. We've done several trainings with Cedric and his group. Let me just show you this one other chart, though. Here's what we're up against. In our time as a command staff, the last 3 department leaderships that go back to 2001. So when I interviewed for the job to be the chief of police, I said the bare bones minimum we would need to run this department would be 448. And I had the number down because we were 9 districts. I knew how many we had in detectives and narcotics and traffic, and I had the number 448. Not once in our command staff time have we had 448. In fact, in our time in this command staff, the highest number that we had was 443, and that was in 2014. And look at the crime numbers for 2014. Increased officers does not equate to lower crime, but I'll tell you what it does equate to. But in 2014, I had 443. So that was the highest we've had during our tenure. Previous chiefs, their lowest that they had during their tenures was higher than my highest in the 10 years that we've been here in the command staff. Look, I know it's not all about the workforce and bodies and the numbers, but that's hurt us significantly. It really has. It truly has. And, you know, we say all the time, you want to hear do more with less, but in fact, you lose the ability to provide some of the community policing that is essential that we've provided over the years. The way we feel that it should work, and we've had unbelievable proven success in much of the data that I've given you, Mr. President, and the council. And to do that, right now we have 5 districts. When Dean Esserman came and re-engineered the Providence Police Department, he did a full analysis of what this police department should be. And that analysis was going towards certainly 500, getting to 550 to 600 in his notes. We sat for months. We broke the police department down into what it should be, and it was 9 districts with 9 district commanders. Each district commander had every car post covered. Each district commander had footmen. We had the ability to have bike patrols. We had the ability to have directed patrols. And what would happen, and Mr. President, Councilman Igliozzi could tell you, we would go to community meetings and we would have a scribe, and they would identify issues in their neighborhood, and the scribe would take notes. And the issues would be similar and from neighborhood to neighborhood and district to district. But what we would do is take notes on the 5 or 7 issues, and during the course of the next month, we would attack those issues with directed patrols. And we'd go to the next community meeting, and I'm telling you, from neighborhood to neighborhood, district to district, we would get standing ovations because it was a problem-oriented policing approach, and that's what we should do. We should be directing our resources to what the problems are at the moment of the community. And quite simply, we haven't had the resources to do that. We've done well. There are charts in there that will show how crime has gone significantly down. And we're experiencing a really bad moment in this police department. If you look from 2011 till 2021, one other thing I want to say about the workforce of the Providence Police, we've built a culture of excellence and leadership. Under our command staff, 7 members of the command staff, 5 have become chiefs, 2 have become directors of security. When people around this state are looking for leadership around security and policing, they're looking to the Providence Police Department. And that's a good thing. And that wasn't always the case here, but that's what they're looking at. We continue to drive crime down right up until the middle of 2020. In the middle of 2020, pandemic occurred, George Floyd occurred, voices were heard, and there was a lot of mixed messaging going on throughout this city and throughout the country. And we became demonized and villainized, or some things, quite frankly, we didn't do in Providence. I will say we have our issues in the Providence Police Department, and those issues are dealt with. People are held accountable in our time in the command staff. And I'm not proud to say this, but we've done it. 26 members of the Providence Police have been terminated or forced to retire because we felt on those issues they no longer deserve to be. And some of those very, very, very good people. It's just for what the incident that occurred, it was time for them to remove themselves from the situation. So I think it's very unfortunate how we've become demonized. And I will say this, I support the men and women of this department 1000% because I know what they do. I've done it. I've led them, the commander, this command staff. And that's why it's so unfortunate, because we know it's not about us. It's not about the commissioner. It's not about me. It's about the community. It's about our connections. And people that know me know that I love this city. I love this police department. I love this community. I haven't had that much fun as I did the other day at the Dominican Festival, and that was an honor for me, a complete honor. And it's not about us. It's about the community. It's about Black, Latino, Asian, white. It's about the neighborhoods. Each one of the neighborhoods, Ponyville, South Side, West End, East Side, Summit, we can do better. And I think we really need to do better. And first and foremost, I think we have before us the 70th Recruit Academy, graduates November 6th, which is important. I think we need 3 academies in a row. We need, look, I may not be here 3-5 years from now. We've said it all along. For this police department to work, as I just described, with a full district and foot posts and directed resources towards the issues in the community, that's where we need to be, to best serve this community. It's unfortunate, but you can see it's all in the data. Like someone told me, the stock market over the years goes up, and crime in the city of Providence, this is real data. We're a data-driven organization. Over the last several years, crime continues to go down. All that I asked for, and I haven't had it. We haven't had it. If you look at this, we really haven't, and we've been able to do it. But I asked for the latitude to do this, the resources, and the support. We do tough work in this community, including with crime and ATVs. ATVs is a real tough issue. Not only here in Providence, this is going on all over the country. Look it up. Look at Philly, San Jose, Boston, Atlanta. Many of them have no chase policies. We do not have a no chase policy. We have a pursuit policy where we're required to pursue these vehicles in a safe and prudent manner. But you need to understand, this is a really tough issue that no city has really successfully grappled. And when we pursue an ATV, an all-terrain vehicle, it's called all-terrain for a reason. They can go left to center, they can go down an alley, they can go up on a sidewalk. They're causing risk in their community. And if we do that, we're causing more risk for the city and more risk for the police. I know I'm over my 5 minutes, but I just wanted to talk about crime, the issue of ATVs, guns in our community. Lastly, I'll say we've seized this year with an arrest 143 firearms. Last year, the same time, 43. 43. Think about that. So we're seeing incredible amounts of firepower and gun violence. And the men and women have done that this year. 143. These are not easy arrests. Every single one of those is a really difficult arrest. And we had one the other day at the festival, at the tail end of it, where a young man had a firearm and people in the community pointed it out to the police. And when the police approached, he turned, he pointed the gun right at the head of a Providence police officer. And there are two Providence police officers right there. They both drew down on that individual. And one of the officers, when he was diverted away from looking at the officer he was pointing the gun at, ran over and knocked him down. Both officers were fully, they each could have shot at him. And we've had that situation no less than a half dozen times this year. This year alone, the Providence police have not fired one bullet. Last year, the Providence police have not fired one bullet. In this city this year, with the violence that we're seeing, there have been 639 shell casings picked up in the city. Not one is from the Providence police. I know we have our issues that are called into question. Leave it up to this command staff to hold people accountable, and we will, and we have. Thank you, Mr. President.
Chief?
There are so many charts up there, but I just wanted to identify those three.
Thank you, Chief.